Okay, and welcome back to Continue Freedom. Thank you guys so much for being here. We've already got some people on. For whatever reason, I've got my brother here, by the way. Here we go. Bring him up. What's going on? All right, so I got my brother. No, my Rumble feed went down for whatever reason, so I don't think that one's going to be coming up, and I really hate that because I get a great deal of viewership on Rumble. Let me see if I can get this one to fix. I don't know why it went down. No, well. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. As you guys saw in the thumbnail, Ghislaine Maxwell apparently discussed 100 names with the Deputy Attorney General, and it's got the internet in an absolute tailspin. Everybody's talking about who are the names. We'll see what actually comes of it, but here to talk about it with me, as I said, is my brother. If you guys have been watching me for a while, which I know some of you have, he's been on here. It's been a minute.
Well, I predicted the last election, and then I kept laughing. I did my dues.
You did your dues. Well, yeah, you and everybody else.
No, some people were worried. I knew Trump was going to win.
Well, yeah.
Never doubt the American public.
No, well, I had some doubts at moments. I did, but here we are. It turned out for the best. So this is a big one. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Do you want to let's warm up a little bit here because we got a few folks coming on. Let's talk about what we were talking about before, Elon Musk and T-Mobile. As folks are coming online, we'll get to the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff because that's obviously our headline for tonight. But Elon Musk, here you go. This is old.
It's floods, or fires.
It's somewhat old news, but Elon Musk and Starlink with T-Mobile. I think we said in February what we deduced.
Around February is when they announced that they were partnering together for Starlink and T-Mobile.
I'm gonna have to correct you on this all the time. You gotta.
Oh God! I like leaning back.
Is terrible. So back in February they launched a beta program where they said everybody's going to be able to get Starlink access in their T-Mobile devices nationwide, even if you're outside of their coverage area. So it's a handover that it does between satellites and the cell towers. Pretty slick technology that they're doing that. And you said they were the largest, which I didn't realize before the show. You said T-Mobile was the largest.
T-Mobile's huge in Europe. T-Mobile's huge in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much have the European market over there.
Well, let's listen to what Elon Musk says.
Yeah, even if an entire region or country was lost connectivity because of a severe hurricane or floods or fires or tornadoes, earthquakes. There's so many natural disasters, obviously. You would actually still have, even if all the cell towers were taken out, your phone would still work. Thank you.
Unless it's an EMP, and then nothing's going to work. But nonetheless, it's pretty cool technology.
Throw that in there. I think it's funny how like the T-Mobile guy and Elon Musk are both in T-shirts and jeans.
That's the new business wear, man. That is like all these guys. Mark Zuckerberg was the one that popularized the hoodie, right? He's got to be a tech bro and got to wear the T-shirts. I do it. I mean, I come here and do an internet show.
I thought it was John Fetterman.
Oh, gosh, John Fetterman's doing it in the Senate. Yeah, although I think I've got an issue with John Fetterman doing that in the Senate. It's supposed to be a place of respect. Wearing your baggy shorts and your hoodies, I think it's a bit disrespectful. I don't know what you think, but. I mean, he's a knuckle dragging Neanderthal, but yes.
But the crazy thing about him was I thought he was going to be like this crazy, and he is on a lot of subjects, but sometimes he comes out, and I don't know whether, I hate to say this live, but
say it.
His stroke.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was a stroke brain or what, but like sometimes he comes out with some pretty like siding with the Republicans. I'm going, wait.
Yeah. Oh, I've done several shows.
Wait. I'm like a double take on that. Wait.
I've done a show several times where he says it, and I think, oh, he's based, but then he'll come out and talk about some other socialist nonsense, and you think, okay, it's just John Fetterman. I mean, but it's a good point actually that we can differ on things.
Yeah.
But there is some common ground. There's certain things that people can rally around.
But that's part of that culture. You should be the culture in Washington. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
is that you should differ. You should differ on some opinions, but you shouldn't be going out here financing riots to try to get your point across. It should be something that you discuss in the halls of Congress. Y'all figure it out, go talk with each other, and then come up with a plan. That's what it should be. Not, everybody, you either secede to my demands or we're going to riot and burn your house down and kill your family.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a valid point that we've siloed ourselves so much politically that there is no common ground to be found. And a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but in a large part, it's because of the extreme positions that have been taken. If you're an actual conservative, what I would consider to be an actual conservative, it's hard for you to side with a lot of the Democrat platform. And if you are a real radicalized Democrat, you can't side with anything that the Republicans want to do.
Well,
so we get siloed, and nobody is talking to each other. Nobody compromises. And when somebody like Fetterman comes along, everybody's rushing to claim him as their own because the Democrats are saying he's one of us because he's a socialist or he's pro-union. And then he turns around and says something that makes them mad. And the Republicans say, yeah, hurry up, come over here, because it's this. It's like what was the game where you is it Jacks?
Jacks.
Where you bounce the ball and you grab it as much as you can.
Jacks.
That's kind of what you're trying to do politically.
Yeah.
Fair analogy.
And of course it's funny because I like to drive you crazy with calling them communists instead of Democrats.
Yeah.
Because they are. I mean, ultimately, what was the Democrat Party has now turned into a socialist communist party, and they are no longer a Democratic Party. I mean, there's no democracy to be had through them. If you totally believe in their agenda. I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's people like, as wild as it is to say Fetterman, but
I think that's why
Rouhana and other people, like, there's some folks that they are Democrats, staunch Democrats, but they still maintain just a modicum of common sense. I think that, and I think that the Trump phenomenon on the Republican side, I personally believe has been a bad thing. I've watched commentators do this. They side with him no matter what, and they will not defy Donald Trump in the public square, right? Talking. They won't come onto their channel and say anything bad about Donald Trump because that doesn't get them the clicks and that sort of thing. If I say something, I've had people in my comment section on YouTube just absolutely come guns a-blazing against me because I question Donald Trump. And I say, I don't like the way he handled the Epstein thing as one example, and which we're going to get into here shortly. And people will just, it's like, look, you got to call the guy out. He's not going to do everything right. Did you learn nothing in 2016?
I think, though, with Donald Trump, is he comes from a business world.
Sure.
Where you have people surrounding you that you're able to direct and tell, hey, we got to get this done. We got to get that done. And he expects them to do that job. Now, he'll step in and take care of it at some point if the job doesn't get done. Heck, he's calling for the Epstein list to be released. He's been one of the vocal people saying that he wanted it released over the past couple weeks.
But then he came out and said, oh, how dare you former supporters or my previous supporters? I have to call him out for that. We have a duty to call him out for that. No, we're not former supporters. We are,
but you
we're
have
supposed to be arbiters. People are going to differ. Like, it's opinion. I'm doing opinion stuff, right? We're doing opinion stuff here.
Oh yeah,
This is
my
my
it's all
take.
opinion. My opinion, your opinion.
Right. It's how we're processing the news and how we're processing information. But if we just sit and toe a line, that's the algorithm mentality. It's I'm in the Trump algorithm. The Trump algorithm is getting me clicks and it's getting me money, but I'm not being an honest arbiter of what I'm reading and saying, well, Trump is wrong in this. Then I'm doing a disservice to the people who are watching. And I might be wrong. I reserve the right to be wrong. I'm going to make mistakes when I do this.
Well, but you remember how Trump operates. And Trump has done this since he since he started his run came down the steps in 2015.
Yeah. Down the escalator.
Down the escalator, as they all say. The escalator.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he came down the escalator in 2015. Since that point, everybody that runs against him, I mean, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, all these guys, he put them down. But in the end, they all work together to get stuff accomplished. He doesn't hold a grudge per se. He knows.
I think he knows the difference between politics and somebody who's actually done him wrong. He'll hold a grudge.
Now, if you do, yeah. Now, if you fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Little
fool
Marco,
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah. Little Marco and all that kind of stuff. That's just him playing politics. But
yeah,
and he gets that because Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State. Although I didn't like that opinion. Well, let's get to this. We'll get back to Donald Trump here in a minute.
He's a good. I think he's a great Secretary of State. But anyway, let's go ahead.
I still think he's an insider. Okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell. This is the headline for tonight. Ghislaine Maxwell met with the Deputy Attorney General, and let's listen to. Let me make sure I got the right clip pulled up here. Let's listen to the CNN one first because we like to be, fair and listen to the crazy lefties and what they think about this, i.e. the Democrat Party's media platform.
Man. That's like
there you
plan
go.
to do with everything Ghislaine
right
Maxwell told them yesterday and today. Her lawyer says she answered questions about roughly 100 people during her meetings with Deputy Attorney General and former personal attorney to President Trump, Todd Blanche. CNN Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed is with us on this. She is tracking all of the details. Do we know anything else about what they discussed, Paula?
Well, we're learning a little bit, but there's still more questions than answers. We know the two sides met today for about 3 hours. After talking through the day yesterday, once again, her lawyer said she answered every question that she was asked. She did not invoke privilege. And when really pressed on exactly what she's being asked about, her lawyer said that they've asked about every single possible thing you can imagine, but then revealed that she was asked about maybe 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody and did not hold anything back. I think that's sort of the biggest headline we've gotten out of these meetings so far. He was also asked about, where he sees all this going. Let's take a listen to what he said.
We don't know how it's going to play out. We just know that.
So this is the one that cut short. I'm going to play the rest of this clip here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and pull that one up.
Of course they did.
So they talked about anything, everything, all the things, all the good stuff, right? And this is, let's see if I can find that one. Here we go. This is actually, I hate when they do that on
Why don't
X.
you play the last one where they cut him short and then play the long one?
Well,
so we know what he's
No,
saying.
here's what I'm doing is I'm playing the part where they actually talk about what that guy, they bring up the press conference. So here, let's play this one real quick.
What else did Maxwell's attorney say?
Well, he said a lot. We wish we could be in and hear what was said in the actual meeting. This meeting was a lot shorter than it was yesterday, but this was a two-day event. The highlight, though, it appears that her team wants a pardon. Watch.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
But the president leaving the White House today was asked directly about a pardon or commutation of Maxwell's sentence.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell? It's
something I haven't thought about. It's really something
recommended.
It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
Sandra, this all happened at the federal courthouse in Tallahassee, not far from where Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence behind bars for trafficking. The DOJ not commenting on the meeting today. Legal experts question whether Maxwell told and will tell her version of the truth going forward, the actual truth. Now, The recent photos we have snapped by Fox News Digital show her on a run at that Tallahassee prison. We're still awaiting decisions from 2 federal judges in New York who will decide if they'll release grand jury transcripts from investigations involving both Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. A Florida judge from another of Epstein's criminal cases says her hands are tied, as anything to do with the grand jury in the American court system is typically kept close and secretive. But he said, when I say he, I'm talking about Maxwell's attorney, he said we haven't reached out to anybody or the president just yet on a pardon.
Okay, so I have a couple of thoughts on this that we're gonna dissect. We talked about this. We started getting into a heated conversation even before the show started. By the way, Chicken Genius 420 said, "You will never know the truth." I don't know about that. I don't know if I buy that or not. I'm gonna keep pushing for it. I'm hoping that we'll see. But anyway, Ghislaine Maxwell, because as we were talking before, you can't convict somebody for any sort of nefarious things going on on his private island, in his penthouse, all that kind of stuff, where Bill Gates and the like used to hang out. You can't do that without any kind of evidence. And the evidence existed inside of his home. So the only thing we've got right now is Ghislaine Maxwell and whatever the intel community, the FBI, all those folks have got in their possession. So she's the key to the whole operation. She's coming forward, and this is really a protective measure, I think, aside from her trying to strike a deal, because I believe she wants a pardon. This is a protective measure for her if she's unalived in some way, if she is, something nefarious, something crazy happens to her.
Don't unalive. She's killed in some
No, don't say that, because YouTube will take us off.
Oh, sorry.
YouTube
Sorry.
will wreck us for
Unalive.
that.
My bad.
Yeah, you gotta use these silly code words because of YouTube. But and she's seeking a pardon. Why would they be even considering the possibility of a pardon if she hadn't said something that is of value to the DOJ? So is it worth it? This would be my first question to you in your thoughts. Is it worth it for her to be pardoned for all the horrific things that she was party to, which she maintains her innocence, but that she was convicted of? Is it worth it if she hands over some treasure trove of information?
Well, number one, she was convicted for trafficking.
Right.
So she has definitely been found guilty through a court of law for that. Now, when you say everybody, we have to look at the list. This whole Epstein list is, I think, in my opinion, it's a diversionary tactic to take away from a lot of the things going on in our society. And I don't think we need to get hung up on it, because here's what it is if you take that list, not everybody on that list is going to be guilty.
Correct.
Okay. So give the courts and give the attorneys their time to go through that list and find out who is guilty and who is not, before we just turn some list out to everybody in the public. But that's something for later on down the road. Right now, we have a lot of stuff going on in the United States and across the world that we need to be focusing on. And I think this is.
But we have to walk and chew gum at the same time.
But
we can't just say we've got the economy, we've got tariffs, we've got all these great things happening. Let's just talk about all that and ignore the pedophile operation.
I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying at all ignore it.
But it's been
every pedophile.
Here's the other thing.
You're talking about the same.
Hang on 1 second. It's been 6 years. So we're saying now that we've got it. The DOJ has had this. The intel community has had this. It's been 6 years. Okay, well, we just have to wait a little longer so we can vet this. That information's been vetted. They've seen the videos. They know who's in the videos, and they've done nothing with it. And these are the deep staters or the ensconced people in the Department of Justice. This is my opinion, but in the Department of Justice, in the intel communities, whoever it happens to be, they've seen this stuff. They know who's implicated. Those things have been sifted through, sorted, and cataloged for whatever reason, nefarious or otherwise. And now we're saying, Trump is saying, when we came out with it, blasting all of us who actually care about this list. And I'll put list in parentheses because it's more than just a simple Rolodex of evil people. That, oh no, now we have to sift through it. It's been sifted through.
It has, but you have to understand that you've had three different, even though Trump's first presidency, did it even start under his? It started under, was it under his or Biden that it started?
The the investigation?
The investigation.
Yeah, it would have been under tail end of Trump, I think.
Tail end of
Was it
Trump.
tail end of Trump, or was it first part of Biden?
I think it was the first. I thought.
Let me look at it and see. You talk.
But what I'm saying is, when you go through that many administrative changes, okay, now you have somebody that's focusing on it at the start of Trump's focusing on at the start of his presidency. It'll come out, but we're using the I call it like a McDonald's syndrome. We want it here, we want it now.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff doesn't happen through the courts. It goes, courts are slow go. And when you go through the court system, you have to have all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed to prosecute anybody on the other side.
And there has to be a chain of custody. And why would they not want to have a chain of custody? Because they don't want to know who's been sitting on it for the past 6 years.
You know, but here's the thing: is you're saying, well, we want that list right now. Okay, so what about the people on the list that are not guilty? So you're going to throw innocent people because it's been proven that some of those people have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump is on the list.
Yeah, and
on the list, and again, we have to clarify for everybody: the list is not a simple black book. I can't imagine it is. I don't know that for sure, but it's not a black book that says, I, Jeffrey Epstein, procured a X age, underage person for X celebrity. I got another underage person for X congressman or whatever it happens to be. It's not that simple, but what is obvious is the videos. This was a blackmail operation. Nobody really questions that.
Yeah.
It was a blackmail operation, and the key component of a blackmail operation is to collect the video and document the video and catalog the video so that you can use it when somebody comes out against another person. And this is how I assume Jeffrey Epstein operated. If it's a congressman or, well, let's say a businessman, there's some, way up there running a Fortune 500 company or works for a Fortune 500 company, and they say, we need you to do this nefarious thing. And he says, no, I'm not going to do it. And he says, well, check your cell phone. And you look at his cell phone and he sees a picture or a video of him doing something that was, set up by Epstein. And that person then takes the action, right? All that stuff has to be cataloged. It has to be organized. And it was, by most accounts, in his island, in his penthouse, in all of his places, which were bugged. Same thing with Diddy, right? As everybody says, there were cameras in every single room. So this is stuff they've been sitting on, and the American people, they want one thing. It's quite simple. It's accountability, because we know that this is not happening at our level of society. This is happening at an upper echelon, the same people.
And I'm not saying that you don't hold them accountable, but you hold them accountable when you can prosecute them instead of just throwing them out there.
So it was under Trump.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So tail end of Trump.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not saying you don't hold them accountable, but you got to look at right now, who's the reason that this is becoming such a big deal is your Democrat media, your Democrat Party, or your Communist Party, however you want to look at them. Okay.
I get it. I get what you're going for.
Yeah. But why are they pushing this? 2 or 3 years ago, the Communist Party was talking about, it was, what was it they wanted to call child molesters?
Minor attracted
persons. And
MAPs
say,
is what they called them.
Yeah. And just say it was a disability. So why all of a sudden are they interested in this? Because what they do is they like to play with the people. Okay. They like to play off of people's emotions to make them make an emotionally erratic decision, because they're coming up on a big election, okay? And they want to make people think that if you're going for Republicans, they haven't fulfilled their promises. Well, he's done everything. The only thing that you have to look at right now is I'm kind of getting a little sidetracked here, but
That's fine.
But what needs to be done is Pam Bondi and the DOJ need to go in and do their proper investigations before anything is released to the public, because it's going to go, because they're going to have their I's dotted and T's crossed before they go to court.
I get that. But here's the other piece of this is it's coming. The data is coming. This list is coming.
It will come.
What? No. Hang on. What I'm saying is this is the type of thing that they have been telling us for an extended period of time. That, again, as I said, this data needs to, being released to the public. If you know that, what's a way to put it? Either way, they were leading people on for whatever reason. Alina Habba was doing it. Pam Bondi was doing it. Kash Patel was doing it. La-di-da-di, everybody was doing it. Keep your eye on this. Keep your eye on Dan Bongino. I don't think Dan Bongino was being obviously dishonest. I think Dan Bongino,
I think they jumped the gun on the whole thing. I think they should have said, we are currently investigating this list that I have, and when we get further information and we begin to prosecute, you'll know what's coming along. But you have to remember,
what would
go ahead. The last administration,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I mean, heck, even Trump's administration, when his first administration, look at how he trusted people to help him make the right decisions and making the attorney general decisions and all these other people that turned out to be just the moderate Republicans that were the mainstream Washington people. Okay. And he trusted people to help him with that decision. That's what's so good about his second term, is that he's gone in there and he's putting people in positions that he trusts and knows are going to do their job.
You trust Pam Bondi?
I think she'll prosecute this. I think it will. But you have to remember, you were under a whole nother administration for 4 years that held on to this and didn't do a thing with it. I'll guarantee those computers and any evidence is probably set in a back room, or they've destroyed some of it.
Nope. I think that the last administration had a plan of some sort to use it. I don't think they were sitting on it. They wouldn't take that. This is why they didn't go after Donald Trump, and why I am confident that Donald Trump isn't on that list. A DOJ, a corrupted intel community, had access to some of the most prolific, most impactful, evil, horrific content, blackmail content that you could possibly imagine. It's all on videotapes. It's stored somewhere on hard drives, and they didn't use it against Donald Trump in the last election. Why? Because they don't have anything on Donald Trump. But I think the things that are unseen are them. I think they had a plan for it. I think they were probably using it unbeknownst to us, because it was decisions that didn't affect us. But I think they were using it.
But here we spent the past 20 minutes of your show talking about a list that the Democrat parties are pushing. And that's the thing, is the
Democrats are pushing it because they're contrarian. They're just contrarians. They don't know how to. It's not because Trump's on the list. They're pushing it because Trump says Trump gave pushback about the list. I will side with the Democrats who want to.
Look at the passion that it instills in people.
Yeah.
And I've said this before on your show: a country divided will fall. Well, a party divided will also fall. And if you can divide, what they found is that they can take this list. They have poked and prodded enough that they have found that weak point. And this list has become a weak point in the party and the solidity that we had in the last election.
But we're not a divided party. We're not a divided party.
But they are going to pressure. But
for the equal amount of time that we have spent talking about this list, about Ghislaine Maxwell and her giving 100 names, talking about 100 names of people who did bad stuff, that gives a glimmer of hope, to some of us who really want to see this thing come out. I would do a show 10 times as long talking about all the great things that Donald Trump is doing. This is just, and I will, and I do. I bring it up all the time.
Right.
This is great. I love talking about the good stuff that Trump is doing. But a party divided, we are partially divided on one issue, but as a party, as a whole, I mean, we're already, well, I shouldn't say that. We're behind Trump. People are behind Donald Trump. The party, the Republican Party, is a dying party. The only thing that is holding us together, it's not the Republican Party holding us together. It's Donald Trump holding us together. Because
I'm not going to disagree there.
When Donald Trump is out of the picture, if it's not Don Jr., Eric Trump, or maybe J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance could be.
J.D. Vance could be a very.
People could probably rally behind that guy.
Yeah.
And in 15, 20 years, Barron Trump. I think that guy's he's gonna rule the world. But no, he is a figure that centrists, conservatives, some libertarians, he's a big tent. He's created the big tent. When he goes away, that big tent is going to come toppling down, I believe, if J.D. Vance doesn't start making some big moves towards the latter part of this presidency.
I think you're right. The latter part of the presidency is when you're going to have to start seeing the next predecessors start stepping in to start making themselves known.
Yeah. Well, and Trump,
but yeah, I mean, like I say, I's dotted, T's crossed. I want to make sure and prosecute the daggone child molesters to the fullest extent of the law. And that's what we need to do. But we need to wait. People need to be patient. Don't be I want it now society. Calm down. Everything will be okay. We'll get it done.
But people do want it now. I think there's such a sense, it's an interesting sense of urgency that Trump promised and that Trump has delivered on in a lot of ways. He's delivered on some of these things, but we're so tired of the deep state. We're so tired of these Washington insiders, and this is the chance. Do I think that J.D. Vance is going to be, as president, is going to be as effective in uprooting the deep state as Donald Trump? No, I don't think he can be. And I'll be honest, I think he's a once in a generation type of president, once in two generations type of president. You could make arguments that he's one of the top 3 or 4 that we've had, in the past, in our history. 100%. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do in such a short period of time.
But the bonus side of Trump is he's got the money to fight the machine. And I remember listening to an interview with Herman Cain several years ago. And when Herman Cain was running, he was going to be running against the Republican Party. Of course, he ran Godfather's Pizza for years and had his own radio show, and he had a big following. Like his 999 plan was crazy. Like everybody was going.
I'd get behind that one.
Everybody was getting behind it, and he was going to be running against Obama. Well, they knew he was going to take the stage from Obama because, I mean, at that point you're going to have a black Republican or a black Democrat, and they had to go after him. Well, they went after him with lies, the same stuff they tried to do to Donald Trump, but he's like, I just didn't have the money to fight him. And he said, that's the thing with Donald Trump. Before he died, he was like, that's the thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump had the money to fight him, and he has the lawyers and he has everybody in the background. And then all his donors started pulling out, and he couldn't run the rest of his presidency. But they knew that. They know that. That's how they run that stuff. And so, and Trump doesn't have to have that. He's already got billions of dollars. It doesn't matter to him. But he does care about America. And I think we can't lose sight of that. And we can't lose sight of you don't even have to go there. I mean, you can go with like the Ted Cruzes and the people like that. Think of all the stuff that he's done and he and his family have gone through and the ridicule that they've taken over the years. I mean, you can go back to him, and he's been a fairly solid conservative for the most part.
Ted Cruz?
Yeah, for the most part. No, I won't say everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, he has.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, he's, sometimes I feel like he's a bit of a, I guess you would say he hadn't filtered the swamp water out of his water bottle. He's still using the swamp water to make his coffee in the morning. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a fun analogy for it, but he's, you know, yeah, I get that. I mean, I think the guy's relatively genuine, but
yeah.
There's
some genuine guys in Congress.
Oh, there are. It's
not just him. I mean, I'm talking about.
I think Senator Kennedy is a genuine guy.
I love that dude.
I really love. I love John Kennedy, man.
He is so dang hilarious. I love him.
he did a thing on DEI. It was part of this whole DEI thing, and I'll play actually a funny video from Mazie Hirono. You know, she's a crayon eating window licker. She's
an idiot.
Yeah, but anyway, he said, you know, I don't think the average American cares about race. He said, we all know that to a bear, we all taste like chicken. Man, what a great way to put it. And he plays nice. That's one thing I can say is that he gets along with everybody. He calls people out in a soft, subtle way. And, you know, it goes viral on the internet. But he still votes for some of the trash bills and that sort of thing, which I guess you kind of, you know, you have to make some compromises here and there. But I've made the argument on this show that I'm just tired of the compromises too. I don't even like any of that.
I know.
Well, as we were talking about J.D. Vance, it made me think about this one. This is a good one. Did you see this? Let's see. Let me pull up the video for it. I really hate that we're not on Rumble right now. That's usually where I get my best viewership. I'm going to have to post this after the fact. Well,
YouTube friends, just show this with all your
there you
all
go.
Your buddies.
That's it. Share this.
Spread
like
it. Spread it.
In fact, I didn't pull this up whenever we first started. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. That's my spiel that I give every single week.
Just remember, I reminded you to put up that subscribe button so I get 10%.
10%. I'm not. Yeah, you got to subscribe a lot more. I'll give you. I mean, I've got a pair of pliers over here. I could probably break a penny in half. Anyway, so J.D. Vance, he slams tech companies for replacing American workers with H-1B visas or visa holders. Let me play the video because it was actually really good. And then I'll read part of the article. Oh, X. You know, I love Elon Musk, but sometimes the X video player is just an absolute nightmare for me. Let me pull this up here. There we go. Can I seriously just go boop? I think I did.
In these jobs. And by the way, you see some big tech companies where they'll lay off 9,000 workers and then they'll apply for a bunch of overseas visas. And I sort of wonder, that doesn't totally make sense to me.
The math doesn't.
That displacement and that math worries me a bit. And what the president has said, he said very clearly, we want the very best and the brightest to make America their home. We want them to build great companies and so forth. But I don't want companies to fire 9,000 American workers and then to go and say, we can't find workers here in America. That's a bullshit story.
What did Microsoft say when you brought that up with Microsoft? Have you talked to them about it?
I have not. I just became aware of this a couple of weeks ago. Somebody sent me an article about this, and they said, well, you know, and it maybe was Microsoft.
It was Microsoft.
That fired, I think, 9,000 people. And then I was like, wait a second.
Record profits, record market cap.
But also saying they're desperate for workers. So I have not yet had that conversation with Microsoft. In my defense, I just found out. I will have a conversation.
I mean, he's a genuine dude. You guys that are online right now, you all tell me what you think. We're getting likes over here, so hit the comments too. Let me know what you guys think about it. Is J.D. Vance the guy that's going to effectively take over for Donald Trump? That's what we've been discussing. But you know, he does definitely toes the Donald Trump line. The talking points, all that stuff. He hits hard on it. He's an incredibly likable person. He's quick-witted.
Yeah,
but
it's very.
But like you were talking about before, he doesn't have the money behind him. If they start coming after him, although I don't know that his background's all that shady.
No, I don't think he's had a real shady background.
Yeah.
But neither did Herman Cain, and they came after him and they made stuff up. And it's the thing is, like, sometimes it's not everybody, but some of the public is so daggone gullible.
Yeah.
And they've proven it in psychology that if you repeat something over and over and over and over again, that you can make people believe it.
Goebbels said that that's what was part of the Nazi playbook, was if you repeat a lie long enough, eventually people will start to believe it. And that's how they ran their propaganda campaign. Lie, 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 lie. Eventually people are going to start believing it. Let's see. They come to America. Okay. I mean, Junior, that's a valid point. So Junior talks about the H-1B or the H-1B visa people. Yeah, I don't know if that all the H-1B visas people are like that. He said that they come to America, steal jobs, and then hate on Americans and the American culture. I don't think that's all the H-1B visa people, but there's a massive number of illegals and folks that, not even illegals, some folks that come here on student visas and all that go to Harvard and Princeton and they'll sit out there and protest America as if it's a terrible place. And it's like, hey, we didn't ask you to come here, people. Like, you're more than welcome to go back where you came from.
And it holds true with the same people that want to protest, that are American, that want to protest what's going on in America and what's happening here. Hey, if you don't like the system, don't stay in it.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding you. Nobody's forcing you to.
Nobody's forcing you to.
And
I was going to play this, but I'm going to wait. I don't need to play it. It was Tim Burchett. He's one of my favorites. He's another one that I really like. He was talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, but we're already off that topic.
Yes.
We'll leave that one.
Moving on.
Moving on. I want to talk about it so bad all the time. Let's talk about
dust that out of your beard. Come on.
What's that?
I said dust it out of your beard. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to talk about Donald Trump humiliating Jerome Powell.
I love it. I love it.
Did you see this?
Oh my gosh.
You guys are going to love this. It is, again, to push back on what you were saying before, we're not divided. I still love that Donald Trump does this stuff. I love Donald Trump. He's great. Okay, so listen to this. This is Jerome Powell. Donald Trump basically grabs him and pulls him in front of the camera. Check this out.
I think we hear the president. Let's tune in.
With the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. And it's a tough construction job. They're building basements.
He looks like a lost puppy.
They didn't exist or expanding them. A lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I don't.
Show the receipts. Let me pull it out. I'll show it to you.
Well, it would stand to reason that the chairman of the Fed doesn't know how to do math.
3.1 as well.
It's like
3.1,
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
Still a renovation.
Part of the overall work. So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you
course
to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
he knows his buildings.
Are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you? The country's doing really well. I just briefed the chairman.
Okay, this is what drives me nuts about the Fed. So they're spending $3.1 billion on 3 buildings. He said, "Oh no, that's not right. You included a third, or this is the Martin renovation." It's like, okay, your rounding error of a few $100 million on the renovation of a building. This is arrogant people building cathedrals to themselves. That's the way I look at the Fed. And not just that, but I've got some stats for people. So the reason I will make a case that I don't even know what I've never even talked about the Fed with you. Are you for the Fed?
No, I think I think that's why they persecuted Andrew Jackson, because he actually got rid of the Fed.
Yeah, when they started taking away our gold, our actual wealth, and started giving us rolled up toilet paper in return.
That was under Roosevelt.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like when the gold standard went away, and we started all this stuff. So anyway, but since the Fed has been in place, the U.S. dollar has lost 95% of its value. But let's talk about, by the way, because this is going to get into our debt problem, which I've got my debt clock here so that everybody can see. Oh, gosh. I don't know why they put this up on here. You can see it in the top left. Fed under.
I see a stink bug in the top left
construction,
of mine.
out of time. What's that?
I see a stink bug in the top left of my microphone.
Oh my gosh. Well, nobody can see you right now, so knock it off. But 37 trillion. So we're at 37 trillion in debt. Is there seriously a stink bug over there?
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, just watch it. The cat will get it later. The cat will kill it later.
It's food.
Okay, so when we're talking about 37 trillion, I don't know if anybody's ever done this math. A lot of people have done this math, but I don't know if people remember this. I'm going to give you a refresher. 1 million seconds. How long is 1 million seconds?
Well, don't ask me. I have no clue.
11 days. How long is 1 billion seconds?
See, you asked me what 1 million is. I didn't know what that was. Why are you going to ask me what 1 billion?
What if you had to take a guess? What would you think 1 billion seconds was?
I'd say a month, 2 months.
Nope, 31 years.
Ah, dang.
1 trillion seconds. Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is?
It's longer than I'll live.
31,000 years. So that's the
longer than I'll live.
That's like to quantify this million, billion, trillions. And he's talking about hundreds of millions in rounding errors. It's like, well, we've got a reserve. We may go a little bit over in this cathedral, this grand cathedral that we're building in honor of our greatness, as the Fed. But I believe it's one of the most destructive forces in our economy. I'll give you a couple of reasons. So as I said before, lost 95% of its value since the Fed was created. Of course, interest rates. So the people that sit on the Fed, who sits on the board of the Fed, it's all the big banks, the people who benefit from our monetary policy. So keeping interest rates near 0%, right? Incentivizing all this debt, the debt that Americans are never going to escape, the people getting into all this trouble. The banks are the same ones, by the way, that sold us the American dream, which is simply a way for them to make more money. It's, you got of course, a 30-year mortgage on a home, which, by the way, used to be 2 years of your annual income. Now it is, I didn't pull up that stat. What is it? Typical purchase price for a home is something like 7 times your annual income. Used to be 2 years annual income. So it's gone. The price of homes has absolutely skyrocketed.
Well, that's caused by what you're talking about, the value of the dollar going down and inflation.
Right. But then they incentivize you. They say, well, buy this home. It's a good investment, right? It's a great investment. But it's true that over the course of 30 years, you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Or you necessarily, when you go and sell that home and you say, well, I only paid, $280,000 for it and I'm getting $400 for it. Are you actually getting $400 for the house? No, not necessarily. The bank you've paid out gargantuan sums of money in your interest and all this. It's the whole American dream fallacy that the banks did. So again, 37 trillion in debt. Now the interest rates, they've come up.
I like living the American dream.
Yeah. I mean, I own a home. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it's all bad to own a home. If you've got a family, and there's certain circumstances where I believe it's good for people to have a home. But in a lot of ways, it's a sort of a prison, depending on when you buy. You lose your... What's that?
How dare you say that about the American dream?
Yeah. So then you talk about the Fed so you talked about inflation. They can print money. They don't have to ask us to print money. They can just print the money. And right now we've got our 37 trillion in debt. And let's see, right now, 5.2 trillion in tax revenue is what we're pulling in. And 951 billion is just in interest on our debt as a country. Interest is larger than our defense spending at the moment. Just the interest on our debt. Some months we're paying 27% of our tax revenue just on interest for the debt. they can override interest rates instead of letting the market do it. So the market would tell us what interest rates would be. The free market would. But instead, they artificially manipulate it, and it puts us in all these horrific situations we've been in. And then I've got to talk about unfunded liabilities, a lot of which are here in the U.S. So unfunded liabilities, there's approximately $200 trillion in unfunded liabilities globally. We own almost half of that, right? Do you know how much global GDP is? 100 trillion. So we have, we're like 1.8 times global revenue for unfunded liabilities around the globe. And as the largest economy in the world, we're the ones who have put ourselves in that situation, largely because of the Fed. And here this guy sits and talks about, oh, it's just 100 million here and there. And you want to know why people were amped up about Doge? That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. That's
obviously it's a very passionate subject with you.
Yeah, I'm a spending hawk, man.
I know. Hey, I do not blame you a bit, man. I mean, I think it's great. But we also have to look. A lot of that money has come from the social welfare programs that they created. And that came from like the 60s. So we've seen a lot of the increase come from where we started those programs. It's, God, I'd say it's knocking on the door of $30 trillion at this point.
What the
social welfare? What we spent on that?
Yeah.
Since the 60s.
Yeah. Well, you know the war on poverty. I did this in one of my first episodes. Actually, I think it might have been around COVID time, but it was either way. It was in one of my first episodes, and I looked at the war on poverty and how much money we had spent over time. And at that time, it was 27 trillion. Yeah. This was years ago, so we're probably in the 35. I think it's usually along this at the same, because at the time it was 29 trillion, and that's how much debt we had. Since I first did my first episode of this show, it's now ballooned up to 37 trillion. So I'm willing to bet we've spent about 37 trillion on the war on poverty. And when you look at actual poverty levels, they are static, and they were declining leading up to the war on poverty. That already started their decline, and then they flatlined. They didn't change. We spent 37 trillion or 27 trillion at that time for absolutely no change.
What did that do, though? That war on poverty created a dependency on government.
Of course. Yeah.
And it also led to the reason that the Democratic Party has, or the Democratic Socialist Communist Party has voters.
The Communist Party, right?
That's why they have voters.
Well, I mean, that's true. It's just a new version of enslaving people. IMO, as the kids would say.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Junior, right. Powell looks like a little kid standing by his daddy. Oh, that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
He needs to go put him in a corner and make him lower interest rates.
Yeah.
Go sit in the corner, you lower interest rates.
Yeah.
Cup of water. Crackers. I'll feed you some crackers. Rice.
Yeah. So I'm going to play in because, yes, the Fed is responsible for a lot of our debt, but Congress and refusing to cut anything out of any of these.
Because they're afraid of losing voters. That's why they do that. That's
right,
the whole reason. That's all buying votes.
They're absolutely buying votes. I've got in honor of that, I'm going to play, let's see, Mazie Hirono.
Oh dear.
Who's the brightest bulb on the congressional Christmas tree.
Let's say, remember, she is of the Communist Party. So this is who they vote for. This is their people.
It's their people. They love her in Hawaii. Oh, she the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh, brah.
Wonder if she'd even know how to slice bread. They'd probably give her a plastic knife.
Listen to this. This was recently, by the way. Here you go. Listen to this.
I do have one yes or no question for Mr. Hamilton.
Wait a minute. I got to find it.
I know you're involved in DEI cases, but has any court opined that DEI is unconstitutional? Yes or no?
Yes.
Which court?
United States Supreme Court.
I disagree with you because you're talking about the Harvard case.
You can go.
Okay.
And if
they said you can go read it yourself. So here's the thing. This lady goes on national television in front of all the American people and says, "Are you aware of any court case where they said that you can't have DEI?" And I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but you guys just heard it. And he says, "Yes." She said,
I mean,
which
did you
court
see
was
the
that?
long pause?
The Supreme Court.
Did you see the long pause he took? Like, are you really asking me this question?
Yeah, he's like, yes. Only the highest court in the land.
Do you think I have not checked that over?
The case that they were talking about, it's Students for Fair Admission versus Harvard in 2023. So it was only 2 years ago. And the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that Harvard's race-based admissions program violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The court found that the program discriminated against Asian applicants by holding them to a higher admission standard compared to other racial groups. The decision effectively ended the use of affirmative action in college admissions, requiring admissions processes to be race neutral. I have a couple questions. Do you think that the aide that drafted that was a DEI hire? That's my first question. Is an aide drafted that question for her, and she just mindlessly took it from them, and she said, "No, it's okay. I hired this person based on immutable characteristics." And as far as I know, they
She read it. She had to write that herself. She probably sat up all night trying to think of that, like herself.
I don't think she did.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I swear, I think she did. I think she was sitting up all night. She's like, "What can I ask him? Oh, I know what I'll ask him."
So,
I mean, because you have to be you can't be. I mean, to be able to read the question in the first place on national television.
I don't think that they care.
It's all for show.
It's show, and it's fodder for people like us to sit here and talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think she read any of these questions beforehand. It would be so easy for someone to say, "You know what? I'm going to build into my very, very busy schedule," because we all know Mazie Hirono is just going crazy with writing legislation and doing amazing things for this country. And so she needs to spend a little less time at the
crayon discount store.
Right. She needs to spend less time in the corner playing with her choo-choo train puzzles and more time maybe on ChatGPT. You could say, "Hey, let's just Google this real quick and see what happens."
I don't think she's a ChatGPT.
What? But I'm just saying, like, you're supposed to be representing the American people. People can make mistakes. But on one of the cases that was covered for months as a huge victory against DEI, and here she goes and says, "Has it ever been tried in a case?" And the guy says, "Yeah, the Supreme Court." Sorry, where were you, buddy? And then this was the other thing I said is, this is why stereotyping Asian people, this kind of makes the case, right? That Harvard stereotyping Asian people is, well, they're all smarter, so we have to add IQ points. This is why DEI doesn't work. She debunked it basically by asking that question. It's like, yeah, Harvard did have it wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in case you guys don't know, Harvard was saying that based on your ethnicity, they had different scores that you had to get on your SATs, your ACTs, all your aptitude tests. And it was taken to the Supreme Court, and they said, "Nope, you can't do it." Yeah. So anyway, well, we have come upon the hour, everybody.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's already been an hour. Thank you guys so much. I apologize. I mean, I'm gonna apologize now to all my Rumble folks, because hopefully you will watch the video when I go and post it on Rumble. But that definitely hurt our viewership a bit tonight. But we had great folks. We had a lot of folks liking over here on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. My X feed also stopped working, so I'm gonna have to go back into my program and see what in the world is going on.
I'll leave that technology stuff up to you.
I don't know what you've got in your head, but as soon as you come on the podcast, everything stops working. So it's, for those of you that don't know, he's the one that calls me when he doesn't know how his, computer works, how his cell phone works. He doesn't even know how to reset the clock in his truck. He just says, "I'm coming by your house and go, someone needs you to work on it." Now, if I need to rebuild my engine, I'm going to take it to him. If you need electronics, as you got. So anyway, well, thanks for being on here, buddy. I appreciate it. This is a fun one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is a good time. We'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thanks, Junior. Junior says great show. Yeah, I like the energy. I like it when we fight. We're brothers. We've been fighting for 44 years. I've been on Earth. Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll go on. One time we'll go into the chairs. I've got some chairs back here, like soft leather chairs. We'll sit back here and just tell stories about how we used to beat the fire out of each other.
No, let's not do that.
There's some creative stories, man.
No, yeah.
Involve baseball bats, golf clubs, all that good stuff. We fought.
Well, I'd rather be creative on there.
Well, hey guys, so the important thing is we're going to disagree on things. We're going to agree on things. We got to discuss it. We got to flush it out. At the end of the day, we care about this country. We care about the future of this country. We care about our president. Let's keep praying for Donald Trump. Thanks again for being here. If you enjoyed this content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. I will see you guys later. God bless you. God bless America. I love you guys.